So this is the weigh-in. Adderall, Ritalin, marijuana. All of which I have experimented with or tried, whatever, in the last, 4 years. So I don't smoke marijuana, but edibles is what we're going to bring into the weigh-in. Adderall and Ritalin are legal. Marijuana, in many respects, is actually illegal. First of all, let me qualify myself. Though I look like a second-rate aviation mechanic, I am a little bit more decorated, if you will. In high school and in college, I was known as a square. I listened to hip hop. I did all the things that people do. I like to have fun, skateboard, whatever. But in terms of like drugs, I didn't drink in high school. I didn't drink in college. I had a very strong resolve and absolve of those particular deviations. I did not attempt to do marijuana. In college it was the same thing. Now I had a beer. I knew what hard liquor tastes like, but the taste was horrible. So it didn't attract me. I was an athlete. I had these ideals and things, and I just never did it. So it was always available to me. Marijuana was in my home. I grew up around this substance. But it was, again, I'm very strong-willed, and when I make up my mind about something. So I didn't do it. I had opportunities to smoke it. People always passing a blunt or something. I didn't do it. When I was 16, though, I ran track. I played football. And when I was 16, I was on the track. I made a decision as to when I thought I would try it. And sure enough, can't give up my age, but many, many years later, I would, actually right about the age that I said I would do it, and right about the situation that I said I would do it, I set my time clock, and it all unfolded that way. And I was able to try edible marijuana for the first time. For different reasons, I experimented with, Adderall and Ritalin and whatnot. So here's the weigh-in. Marijuana is illegal. Adderall, Ritalin is not. Which one's addictive? Man. All right, so let me keep it straight and simple. Marijuana is not addictive. Ritalin is addictive. Adderall could be addictive. Depends on the person's, their personality, their willpower. But by and large, the particular strain of marijuana that I ate, I'm not sure if it was indica, stratera, whatever they call it. It makes me very reflective. I'm able to get into my emotions. I'm able to communicate with people at a different frequency, at a different level. They fall in love with me because I'm already have kind of a witty nature, but I channel it through a much, a refined sensitivity, if you will. So people love me when I'm high. When I am, if I were to use like an Adderall or Ritalin, I can. Sometimes people still think you're weird. Like if you use an Adderall, for example, it's like being on speed. Okay, so people who have been on speed, who have like professional positions now, they think they pick up, oh, he's on speed, and so then they just try and disavow themselves or break with you. You know what I'm saying? I've actually experienced this where it's like, oh, okay. But you can always tell us this type of person that's also been on speed at some point in their life. Funny how that works. But I remember, I'm just going to jump around a little bit. I remember using Ritalin for the first time. I had like a couple pills, and I had a father who was also, had addictions to drugs, and so I had many reasons that, I resist doing unnatural things, and I resist, or I just don't have issues with kind of like addictions. I have addictions. I mean, I open up the refrigerator one too many times a day. I have addictions, but I remember trying the Ritalin, and I remember the feeling. I didn't know what an addiction was. I mean, I only heard stories about, like, heroin, and people just like getting on heroin. They just like the Superman drug. I could only imagine what an addiction. I have no concept of what does an addiction even feel like when it's in the body. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? And then when I did the Ritalin, that's when I knew what it was. I was like, oh shit, that's an addiction right there. That's because the next day I woke up like, oof. I woke up like, I gotta get some more of that. So I was like, oh, so I'm watching myself at this point. I'm like, oh, this is what an addict. Damn, this shit is. The craving was like, shit, you be wanting that motherfucker. So, fortunately, I think, and I just knock on wood and pray for grace, but fortunately, I think I wired myself up early enough by abstaining from these things that it's easy for me to, not do it and just kind of go on with my life, because, again, I've already wired myself without it, as opposed to where it's like if I wired myself with it, then it might be a hard thing to break with. And that's an ironic thing, because if you look at the natural stuff, like marijuana or ayahuasca, which is a whole nother level. I think I know what it's going to be like, because I'm going to do it for sure. But I don't really know. But I think the marijuana gave me some insights as to what the ayahuasca. And they say that people who've done drugs, hard drugs for years, they do the ayahuasca ritual, and they're able to break with the addiction like immediately, because these natural things that have been given to us, they have some very amazing properties that drugs can't give you. When I did the Adderall, it's every time you do one of these things, whether it's the synthetic drugs, the legal synthetic drugs, or the natural illegal drugs, hint, you always get a juxtaposition of who you are and then who you are on this particular substance, right? So I think that is where maybe addiction challenges come in, if people are experiencing themselves in a different way and they like that way better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know people tend to respond to me better when I'm on marijuana, because number one, I can feel things better. I can feel the energy in the environment better. My subconscious is open, so I'm able to actually transform and translate what it is that I'm receiving from the intellectual, from the emotional environment. I'm able to be responsive. I'm able to basically, I would look at marijuana as like the miracle herb, right? Like, you can accomplish anything on marijuana. Not smoking it, because I don't actually condone that. I think that, take a trip over to Oakland and you see so many people smoking it, but they're out there walking around bucket ass naked, bumping the E40 in the clip. So ain't nothing changed for them. But the way I look at it is like, damn, this shit is potent. Like, you can recalibrate your whole life. You eat some edibles, you can get in there and tweak. Now, I've tried some different strains, so they're not all the same. Again, the one that I'm familiar with is, I like it for I feel like, for me, I'm looking for like personal development and advancement, and I'm looking to investigate the mysteries of life. So I like the fact that it gives me the ability to see people. I can look at you and break you down, like, damn, this is how he was as a child. Damn, he had problems with mom. Oh shit. And you're not, they call it a psychedelic, but you're not hallucinating. You really are able to see and extrapolate people. Which people can make people uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable to this day if somebody's high. I don't really like being around people who are high, because I know that it gives you that ability to see somebody. I don't like I don't like being naked around people like that. But it has so many positive uses. I think we should use it in politics, city council meeting. I'm saying everybody come to the meeting and they get a little something in the system. Also, so what I also wanted to share with y'all was like, what I discovered, okay, so you use Adderall, it gives you, it enhances your accuracy. All right, so I've noticed as I'm getting older, my writing is like really getting poor. Like I've always been known for good handwriting, but it's almost like I can't even hardly write straight anymore. I don't know. It's weird. So it improves your accuracy, whether you're throwing a baseball or a football or you're writing on a page. It keeps your brain moving. So if you're writing something, you're quicker. So it just makes the writing process more enjoyable as well. Studying makes that more enjoyable. Ritalin, I really didn't use that. I only used it maybe twice, and because it had those addictive properties to it, I was just like, I'm not using that one. I have found, and the thing is too, like if you use an Adderall, let's say you want to use it as a brain steroid, just something to give you some stimulation, right, to make you sharper. I find that the Adderall, it keeps you kind of alert, and you still feel normal. It takes away pain, you know what I'm saying? Like, it alleviates, your twitch syndrome, if you have a twitch or if you have any type of thing that makes you uncomfortable. It kind of can alleviate that or mask it. Whereas it keeps you kind of like in your normal state of mind in a sense. Certainly would make you a more positive person, more productive. Now, marijuana, what I found was very interesting. If you take, as far as the brain steroid effect, it has its drawback. I'll explain it in a minute. But like, if you want that brain steroid effect, where it's like you are tuned in, dialed in, you just need like a little piece, right? Don't eat too much, because then you'll get like kind of like in a stupor, right? But if you eat like a little piece, it gives you that same brain steroid effect that you get from the Adderall, meaning that you're able to be responsible, and respond to what needs to take place and prioritize things and be emotionally mature to handle it. And you're able to deal with any situation. And it's very empowering. And but it also still puts you in a little bit of a kind of a low-key funk, you know what I mean, or whatever. But they got drugs that do the same, something similar. One is called Strattera, right? And this is the type of thing, it'll make you look like you're a zombie. Again, that's different from marijuana. Because the thing about Strattera is like, it can put you in that stupor, and you don't really have a desire to come out, okay? Whereas with marijuana, edibles, you can be in kind of a stupor state, but marijuana is amazing, because you could literally, it taught me that happiness, it is a choice. That it's a simple decision. I'm gonna be happy. Marijuana, it makes you into whatever it is that you want to be. And so you could be in like a stupor state, and as soon as you need to be responsive and be energetic, you could be that. Boom. Oh shit. So it's a very responsive type of substance. People use it, when they cut hair. People use it to be more accurate in whatever their occupation is, to be more, to do their work better. Some people use it to be more creative, to draw, inspiration from all things. And so I guess this message is kind of for anybody who just wants to know the comparative differences of it. Parents who are thinking about putting their kids on the drugs, people who are into politics, and they talking about it, they considering, should we legalize marijuana? Should we not? Should we? If you got Strattera, Adderall, and Ritalin legalized, man, this is a perfect moment just for me to clown on somebody, because the thing is that I'm an investigator and I investigate things for myself. So when I was growing up, straight edge, what they call a square. They still call me square. I heard what people said. I heard what the reasons was why you don't want to use it. And I get to squash all of that because I know from my own exploration, my own investigations, what's what. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here to enliven the community. Anybody who I have an ear of, yeah, it's going to legalize it, man. As a matter of fact, create some events around it. You know what I mean? Create events. I'm not talking about just people coming out 420. I'm talking about, like, I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? I know how I'm going to bring this forth, but just an idea, a community type of event where so-called leaders of political peoples, they come out and they're willing to have a debate, a dialogue, a discussion, a round table of 360 degrees, Anderson Cooper moment, but they all high and they tackle issues from that state of mind, and it's all being recorded. What kind of ideas and creativity and boom, boom. That type of information the community can use. Number one, they're going to see this veil, this illusion of politics and everything, the game of it. See that come down. See people who are in that game venturing to do something that can progress humanity, not because they're being deviant or doing something that is humanly detestable, but because they are willing to advance. Like, think of how many people go on a goddamn game show, climb the side of, Mount Everest, or go on a Shark Tank and with piranhas and do all kind of silly shit, right? They do it on TV. But you come up with the idea like, hey, we're going to get a round table, we're going to eat some marijuana, and everybody going to talk about these political issues on the table. We're going to get this thing hashed out. We're going to design this world. And people going to act like, oh my gosh, oh no, that's not politically correct. Y'all weirdos. Really? Y'all weirdos. People are weird. People are stupid to me. Anyhow, let me edit that out. Beep. Yeah. But yes, a lot of people got different ways. Some people, they got like the religious thing is telling them, no, you can't do that, man. All I can say is I find that the religious people are going to be the first ones to accept the RFID chip. Even though it says, don't accept the element of the beast or whatever it says, they're going to be the first ones. Because I study the law and I look at the law books and I can see how these little seeds that you plant, they are the things that actually will get you to accept something that goes against your so-called integrity or values. Like, you see it coming. You see it coming. It's like, okay. And you guys, everybody's got something. So without a conscientious social design agenda, you just accept everything that comes at you. And it's quite amazing to witness the hypocrisy. Wow. Yeah, it's quite amazing. So just go and get with the program. Now, also I'll say that as far as whether or not marijuana is addictive, apparently it's addictive for some people because a lot of people have to smoke it every day. I'm still getting comfortable with my admission of use because, again, I looked at it as like a record that I was keeping. Like AC Green, he didn't have sex in 44 years. He never had, so he was still a virgin. That's how it was for me, marijuana. People's like, wow, my man's he's up in age. He still haven't done it. So for me, it was like, it was kind of it was a totem. It was like, yo, this is something I'm proud of. You know what I'm saying? Boom, I abstained for this period of time. So I'm still proud of the fact that I abstained from smoking. Edibles, I'm proud of, and I'm cool with that. I'm getting comfortable with it because, society, it's still a stigma but we got to break these barriers, man, because they're coming down anyway. They really are. So the quicker the better. In any case, don't let your government genetically modify your weed, man. Watch out. In any case, as far as the addictive nature, for me, it's not addictive. I mean, I would love to use some right now, but I'm looking for a job, and I'm just holding off. But no, I would, because it definitely helps you recalibrate, get your priorities straight, and really be able to feel why you're getting those people. And so, we know that people have. We deal with the stars and the astrology, and this has an effect on people in different ways. And, in life, there's always ways to offset nature, in a sense, so that you could get the advantage or the upper hand in a situation. I went a year. I used it. I went a year without using it. Like, just no desire, no credit. Just like, it's not something that you want to use. Well, let me just speak for me. I like being in my normal mind. I like being like, I like feeling like this. But, if you use it, in the right amount, you go into a stupor, in a sense, and I don't like actually being in that place. I really don't. I really don't. For 7 hours, I'm not interested in that, man. I'm not interested in that, man. I fly airplanes, man. I don't snorkel underwater, man. It's too deep. Yeah. So that's what I would say. It's not addictive. It's been a while since I had some. It's just not addictive. I don't. For some, like I said, man, every to each his own. But for me, I already gave you the science that synthetic stuff is the addictive stuff, and also it can become addictive. I'm sure you can think of a lot of reasons, but if you have a specific complexes, and these things help you offset that. I had one of my brothers told me he feel like he needs weed. He smokes it. He needs it to be able to cope with life. He's young, and this is a brother from another mother. But I was like, that's interesting, and he's driven. You know what I'm saying? He make his money. I would say he's successful. He's a working man. He's young, but I would say he's successful, man. I mean, definitely a very responsible individual. But when he said that, I was like, and he'd been smoking it since he was a kid. His daddy smoked it. So he'd been doing this for a minute. And so that's it, man. He felt like he needed. And I was like, he's never coped with life without it. That's the thing. Again, I didn't wire myself with it. I wired myself without it. So to touch on it and to leave it is easy for me to do. But actually in hindsight, I think about this a lot. I'm like, man, if I could do it all over again, would I use it early on? That's a tough one. I think, therefore I am. I think that I would actually. I think that I would. I would definitely want to just use it very ritualistically, not all the time, but maybe twice a year, or, and with 1-2 extra kicks if I happen to be going through something and just kind of really need to go inside or whatever. Or as a brain steroid, if you're going to use brain steroids, use the natural stuff. I think about I ran track, I did football. It would have helped me, I think, in the relationships with people at a younger age. And so, as with all things, the sooner you can develop these qualities that you want, right, the more it'll serve you later on. So I think if I could have been more aware of how I was perceived by people, how I was interacting with them, how I was making them feel, if I could have just had moments to make them feel good. Because, sometimes we call it the trim tab effect. Like, for example, let's say every day that I'm kind of not a likable guy, but I use weed a couple times and go to the football practice and I'm shooting the shits with the guys, and they're like, man, I really like this cat. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I like this cat, man. He's cool. Won't you won't? They didn't already, at that point, they didn't planted the seed in their head that they like me, that I'm cool. And now it almost breaks down some walls so that even on the days that I'm not using it, they don't have that wall of resistance. They already have an experience, a reference that, hey, I like this cat.